Hello, everyone. This is the Sports Spiral, and today I'm going to preview and tell you my picks for Week 15 of the NFL. So, if you want to tell me what I think it's going to happen for, if you want to hear what I think it's going to happen for each game, make sure to stay tuned for this whole video. So, let's start out with the Thursday night game, and it's an interesting matchup. We have the Chargers taking on the Raiders. The Chargers haven't looked too good this season, but the one bright spot for them has been quarterback Justin Herbert. Meanwhile, the Raiders have struggled recently, but I think the Raiders can pull this one out with Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs. Their offense can do enough against a Chargers defense that's not done the best this year. I do think Justin Herbert can make it close against the Raiders defense that haven't been very good as of recent. So I've got the Raiders pulling it out 34-27. Okay, then let's move on to Saturday. Actually, there's two Saturday games because usually all the college football games are over, but there are some of those this week, and I will upload that video tomorrow. But we have a Saturday game between the Broncos and the Bills, and the Bills have looked really good. They just beat the Steelers. They're 10-3. Yeah, they've looked really good. Josh Allen is looking great. And yeah, Josh Allen has continued to improve, and it's looking good. And I've got the Bills, but it's a close one. The Broncos have also started to look better. Drew Lock has improved. He threw for 4 touchdowns last week, so I've got a close one, 27-19 Bills. Okay, then we have our other Saturday game, which is the Panthers versus the Packers, and I think the Packers have looked really good with Aaron Rodgers. They've got a good run game too. And the Panthers, I don't know if they will have Christian McCaffrey back, but no, they have Teddy Bridgewater. I think they can keep this game pretty close. But in the end, the Packers offense is better. I kind of mixed the two teams together there. So I've got 33-24 Green Bay. Then let's move on to Sunday, where we have the Bucks going against the Falcons. The Bucks looked good last week. They had struggled some of the weeks before, and I think they should win again here. I think Tom Brady played well enough to win this one, and they're going against the Falcons, who have not looked the best this year. So I've got the Buccaneers pulling it out in what should be a fairly easy victory. Not going to be super easy or blowout, but I've got the Buccaneers 27-16. Okay, then we have the Ravens, who won in the thriller versus the Browns last week, now having an easy game, potentially a trap game versus the struggling Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think they should be able to handle business. Lamar Jackson has been looking really good. His rushing has probably improved since last year. The passing, on the other hand, it's clear that they need some kind of star receiver potentially. Yes, Lamar Jackson does need to develop a little more with his passing ability, but he also needs to find a star receiver. So maybe they will look for something like that in the upcoming draft. But the Ravens run over all the Jaguars. The Jaguars run all over the Jaguars. The Jaguars are going to start quarterback Gardner Minshew, and I think he can score a little more points for them. But I've got the Ravens all over the Jaguars, 36-17. Okay, then we have what it's actually one of the better matchups of the week. There's not too many great matchups this week. We've got the 49ers versus the Cowboys. Neither of these teams are doing very well, but it should be a close game. The 49ers, yeah, injuries have been a problem all season. But Nick Mullins he hasn't been great for them, but has been able to win some games. And the Cowboys, yeah, they've got some injuries too. Dak Prescott is out for the season, but Andy Dalton has looked okay. And but I just like the 49ers here a little more. And these were teams that I think both made the play. I don't think the Cowboys made the playoffs last year, but they were both decent. The 49ers were great last year. They were much better last year than they were last year last year than they will this year, is what I'm trying to say. But I've got the 49ers in a close one, 27-24. Okay, then we have the Titans, who have looked pretty good, and versus the Lions, who have not had a great season. They fired their coach, and I think this should be a pretty easy win for the Titans. Derrick Henry has looked amazing this season. Ryan Tannehill has been decent too. For the Lions, yeah, I think Matthew Stafford can create some points, but it should be a blowout. 34-16 Titans is my pick. Okay, then we have another AFC South teams going together. We have the Colts taking on the Texans. It feels like we just had this game because I think we did. And the Colts won a slim one last time, and I think they can, because the Texans got blew out by the Bears. I think the Colts can handle the Texans here. Deshaun Watson hasn't looked amazing this year. I mean, it just last year they seemed like they had a lot of star players and were one of the best teams, and now they're just completely out of it. Is what it seems like. So yeah, the Colts have looked consistent. Philip Rivers has been good, and Jonathan Taylor, the rookie, has looked great. So I've got the Colts 34-17. Okay, then we have the Patriots versus the Dolphins. The Dolphins have had great defense, and with two of their offense, it's been pretty good as well. Obviously, they could use like a running back and some receivers. They're not super talented on offense, but they've got a quarterback. And the Patriots just have not looked very good. Cam Newton hasn't been the best in the passing game. So this should be a pretty easy victory for the Dolphins. It could be close, but 23-10 Dolphins is my pick. Then we have the Bears versus the Vikings, and the Vikings are now under 500 after last week, but I think they'll move back to 500 with a 30-24 win. They've got a good running back with Cook, and Kirk Cousins has looked pretty good too, so I think they can score some points on the Bears. And yeah, Trubisky has looked better over the past few games, but I don't think he can do too much in this one. I just don't think he can consistently be accurate and not throw for interceptions in games. And despite the Bears' big win, I am not going to be fooled by that, and I'm going to pick the Vikings here. Okay, then we have the Seahawks versus the Washington football team. And the Washington football team, it's been looking good recently. They give a fight to the Seahawks, but in the end, the Seahawks are going to prevail. The football team is not going to upset another team. I just don't think they can score enough points. Alex Smith, he's been pretty good in some points, but I don't think he's the final answer for the Washington football team. I do think they need offense. It's key because they have a good defense and they can hold the Seahawks to 27 points, but the Seahawks with Russell Wilson, I'm going to go with them. Then we move to the 4 o'clock games, and we have the Rams versus the Jets, and the Jets are probably giving up at this point. They stayed close for some of their games earlier in the season, but they got blown out by the Seahawks, and I think they'll get blown out by every other team. I think they're really giving up at this point, and the Rams have looked pretty good. They've looked pretty good offensively, pretty good defensively, like a pretty complete team, and they'll just be more complete in this one, 34-6, Rams all over the Jets. It's my pick. Okay, then we have the Eagles versus the Cardinals. And yeah, the Cardinals have looked pretty good this season with Kyler Murray as quarterback, and they have DeAndre Hopkins from the trade. And the Eagles, they upset the Saints last week, and I don't think they can do it again. Two bored teams going at it, but I think Jalen Hurts can make this game close. But in the end, I think Kyler Murray and this Cardinal offense does a better job than the Eagles offense, but the Eagles offense had a great run game over the past few weeks. I just think the Cardinal offense will have the better pass game, which will lead them to the victory. Okay, then we have the Chiefs versus the Saints. This should be a pretty good matchup. Two good matchups with the Chiefs these past few weeks, maybe three. The Chiefs have been in some good games, and I think Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City run game, although it's kind of dormant versus the Dolphins, but the Dolphins do have a great defense. I think the Chiefs can do enough with Patrick Mahomes, a great receiving core, and going against a Saints team that had struggled to put up points with Taysom Hill. Yes, they have good running backs and a good running game, but yeah, I just don't think Taysom Hill can beat the Chiefs. 30-23 Chiefs, it's my pick. Then we move to a Sunday night game that is relatively boring. We have the Browns versus the Giants. And the Giants, they've been better this year, but they haven't looked definitely not spectacular, but they've gotten some things down. I think the Browns with Baker Mayfield, a great run game, they're looking like a great playoff team going against the Giants, who have been up and down this year. They've kind of been using a few different quarterbacks. I think Daniel Jones is going to start here, and I don't think he'll be able to provide enough. 31-16 Browns. It's my pick. Then we have another prime time game, which is the Monday night game that it's also going to be relatively boring, but it does have high stakes. The Steelers are going against the Bengals. The Steelers, if they lose this one, they are going to make the playoff, but it kind of just continued their downward slump, and it could lead them to a poor play in the playoffs. But I think they'll be able to get back on track versus a poor Cincinnati team, 27-13. I just think Roethlisberger can do enough. I know the run game hasn't been doing very well, but defense wins this game for the Steelers over a Bengal team that does not have Joe Burrow. So that is going to do it for this video. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and check out some of my other videos. I just posted the reviews for NFL and college football a few days ago. So yeah, you can check out some of the other videos. And this is the Sports Spiral. Bye.